Ding, ding.
These guys have a lot to say, and they never stop talking.
Well, we're going to listen to those two clowns?
I am not a happy camper.
I've had enough of that malarkey.
Don't wreck our show, you hoser.
Live from News Talk 1480 WHBC.
It's a household name.
All right, Dan.
It's Kenny and JT.
Oh, you made a wise choice, my friend.
Have a great show!
Did they make a wise choice? And we're coming to you live from the corner of 6th and Market, a beautiful downtown Canton, Ohio, and it's 24 degrees right now in this beautiful Pro Football Hall of Fame city.
Well, when we left the show yesterday, we did a promo for today's show saying, hey, did the Cavaliers make a big trade overnight? We'll talk about it today at 3. Well, yes, they did make a big trade. The rumor was out there it was going to be Darius Garland straight up for James Harden. Well, it wasn't straight up. The Cavaliers actually had to throw in a draft pick in order for the Clippers to make the trade. It goes down. James Harden's a Cav. Darius Garland is a Clipper.
We've got so many ways that we think about this trade. And you know what it really brings to mind is the fact that when you start to consider what the Cleveland Browns did in their selection of their head coach, at first we're like, oh, we don't know if we like this or not. Then we heard a little bit of the press conference and we're okay with it. And we don't know what else was available.
Right.
Well, I could say the same about the Cavaliers. I don't know what else was available had you wanted to move on. And we've been talking about this for years.
Yes, we have.
Moving on from Darius Garland. What else were you going to, is that the best deal they could have made is the question.
I did a Riding with the Roadman last night, and that's what I started with. Is this the best that Kobe Altman could do for Darius Garland? Because he's damaged goods. JT, that stigma, it's going to stay with him. That whether it's fair or unfair, he's injury prone. It's various injuries. It's a big toe on his right foot, a big toe on his left foot. It's a broken jaw. It's this, it's that. He played 5 games in college, so maybe the Clippers looked at this and said, you know what? We want to get rid of Harden anyways. Let's take a chance on this young player, 10 years younger. Maybe we'll get lucky. If not, we cut him after 2 years. And the Cavs said, well, we want to get rid of him because we're in salary cap hell right now. And James Harden might be able to help us this year, and we can get out from underneath his contract potentially next year.
So many different scenarios and different ways you can go about this trade, and whether or not he wanted out of the Clippers or Donovan Mitchell wanted him in with the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
But let's go back into this. I did what you consider and you call all the time a deep dive.
Right.
I connected the dots on the Darius Garland injuries.
All right.
And I'm going to go back to 2019, and he's a rookie, groin strain. 2020, 2021, shoulder, ankle, missed 8 games. Lower back soreness, 21-22, missed multiple games in February. Thumb and knee injuries, dealt with various thumb sprains, knee soreness, 2022, 2023.
Right.
You remember when he got poked in the eye in that same year?
Oh, yeah.
Missed a bunch of games.
Absolutely.
Forgot about that one. Neck and hamstring issues, 23-24.
Okay.
Fractured jaw that same year. Missed a ton of games there. Left big toe. They call it a great toe.
I call it a Sergeant Hulka.
24-25. And, of course, the same issues now. He's never available.
He isn't. That's just it. And I am not a James Harden fan. I can't stand the way James Harden plays basketball. I don't think he's one of the top 75 players. I know he's the 9th leading scorer. I gave him too much credit in my Riding with the Roadman. I said he was an all-star 14 times. Yeah. It's only 11. And when you look at all that, you're mesmerized by the numbers. But I did a deep dive, as I love to do, as you pointed out.
Nice.
And this guy chokes. He sucks in the biggest games, in the biggest moments. Go back all the way to, I think, 2019, whenever there was a game 5, 6, or 7, and it was an elimination game, he chokes. He can't handle the pressure. He just can't. Doesn't matter if it's in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. He always chokes, and I'll give you some numbers in a little bit. So I did not like this trade initially, but he plays.
Right.
Darius Garland does not play. What's the best ability? Availability. So from that perspective, and there's one less year on his contract, maybe this is a good deal for the Cavaliers.
Something else you might consider about James Harden is he does, and I asked you this question a couple of weeks ago, does Donovan Mitchell make players around him better? We didn't answer that too well.
Right.
And the answer basically was no. James Harden at times, even in those situations where they lost to like Denver and couldn't get into the finals, he hasn't played in the finals since I believe he was at maybe Houston. We'll go back and we'll revisit those games. But he does make players around him better. He got Joel Embiid an MVP because he disperses the ball. He's big with assists, and that's something Darius Garland really wasn't that big on. But if there's something you like about James Harden is maybe he gives up the rock occasionally and he gets to the foul line. These are things that this team doesn't do very well and things that I think they could really work on.
He, like Darius Garland, is not a good defensive player, although he's bigger, taller, okay, a little bit stronger. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. They're both finesse players, right? They're not going into the lane and dunking the basketball. They're going to lay it up, and they like to shoot the three, right? They distribute, both of them. Garland not as good maybe as Harden. But there's something about, like I said, the stigma about Garland is he's always injured. The stigma about Harden is he hadn't won anything. Yeah. He won a gold medal in 2012 as part of the U.S. Olympic team. That's it. He never wins. To me, he's not a winner. He's a numbers producer, but not a winner. And that scares the bejesus out of me. And that's why it's going to be really hard for me to watch him as a Cavalier.
But who is normally winning NBA titles? Are they usually led by a point guard?
No.
So there you have it. I mean, maybe it's not him choking as much as their entire team choking. And I understand when you look at the stat line and he only scores 7 or 8 points, I get that. But Joel Embiid should have been able to lead the 76ers when he was in Philadelphia. Couldn't get that done either. He gets shipped out. Maybe he's a malcontent. We don't know. But the only thing is, and I keep going back to it, is we don't know the outcome of this. The problem with trades at the trade deadline is you don't want to make a trade just to make a trade. And maybe the Cavaliers know more about Darius Garland and his injury. Maybe he doesn't come back. You need someone now, because think about the teams that you're facing in the East. The best team right now is Detroit. But guess who we're looking over our shoulders at when Tatum gets healthy, and the Boston Celtics, when Halliburton gets healthy. And again, maybe you get dealt by the Indiana Pacers. Maybe the time is now, and you got to strike while the iron's hot.
All right. I get that point. That's fair. And because Donovan Mitchell's contract is coming up in, a year and a half or whatever it is, right? He reportedly said he wanted James Harden, according to Joe Varden and Jason Lloyd of The Athletic. Great article by those guys saying the Cavaliers held a Zoom meeting, which the Cavaliers deny, saying they had to do something to try and win now, which they deny. Mitchell wanted him, saying they deny. They're going to deny everything. Deny.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. So, this is a situation where this season has not gone as planned. So they had to do something, and they shook it all up. They got rid of the guy they felt was the missing piece last year in a trade in DeAndre Hunter. They trade him a year later for 2 role players in Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. This is the marquee deal. This is a blockbuster deal where they get Harden for Garland straight up. So 3 new guys. And how about the irony of this? Harden and Garland traded for each other. Cavaliers played the Clippers tonight in Los Angeles. Saturday, DeAndre Hunter's a king. Ellis and Schroeder are Cavaliers. They play in Sacramento on Saturday night. Think we'll make a trade with Denver? We play in Denver on Monday night.
Can we get Jokic? I don't think so. There are conspiracy theories all the time in the NBA, and the problem is, does it make you any better? We're just going to have to find out whether or not this team can rally around this. But again, when I asked you about these backcourts, and we've been saying this for 4 years, 2 6-foot nut and backcourt point guards aren't going to win you anything. And neither maybe are 2 bigs. Are they done, or are they going to try to move Evan Mobley and try to finagle Giannis out of Milwaukee? Who knows? Jared Allen could still be on the block. We don't know what they're going to do. But the bottom line is this. We've been pointing at this for 4 years, and now Kobe Altman finally agrees with us that it's not working, and they haven't won anything either. The problem is, are you listening to Donovan Mitchell because you're too worried about his contract, and he hasn't won you anything either because he's a guard?
I think they were listening to him, but they also realized something had to be done. It wasn't going to work. Admit that you were wrong. Okay, Harden may not be the perfect fit, but he's a better fit than DG, and it gives us salary cap relief potentially because the next year's contract is not guaranteed. There's a report out there that Harden will decline the option for $43 million and then re-sign with the Cavaliers for a longer term at less money, which benefits the. I don't want Harden past this year. I'm telling you that right now.
Probably won't have him.
I don't want him past this year. Here's why. Let me read these off to you because I did the deep dive. 6 years worth of playoffs for James Harden. Ready? 2020, game 4 against the Lakers, 2 for 11 shooting in that game. He had 21 points because he shot 20 free throws. Okay. 2021. When he was with the Nets against the Bucks, game 7, 5 of 17 shooting. They lose. Their series season was over. 2022, games 5 and game 6 when he was with Philadelphia, okay, against Miami. 14 points, 11 points on 5 of 13 shooting, 4 of 9 shooting, okay? Let's jump ahead to the 23 season when he's with Philadelphia against Boston. Game 6 and Game 7. They had a chance to close Boston out. They lose Game 6 and Game 7. Harden, 4 of 16. Harden, 3 of 11. 13 and 9 points. All right, 2024. You seeing the trend here? Games 5 and Game 6 when he's with the Clippers against Dallas. They lose both games. Harden, 2 of 12, 5 of 16. He totaled 23 points in both the games combined. And then last year, Game 5, Game 7 against the Nuggets, when he's playing with the Clippers, he goes 3 of 9 for 11 points. And then in a do-or-die, winner-take-all, Game 7 against the Nuggets last year, 2 of 8 for 7 points. He'll be great during the regular season. He'll suck in the postseason. That's what the numbers, the stats, the facts say.
The only stat you're not looking at, though, is assists. And he was a leader in assists in 2022, 2023 at 10 assists a game. The last time a Cavalier was even close to that, you have to go all the way back to LeBron James. But James Harden in that last game against Denver had 13 assists in a game. Now, I understand where you're coming at, and I know you look at that number and say he didn't score, but he's not your number one option. Same as Donovan Mitchell right now. So when you're looking at this, you're basically back to square zero where you're paying Harden the exact amount of money that you were paying Darius Garland.
Yep.
What's the difference here? The only difference moving forward is, can he stay healthy and give you those 10 assists a game? Because you weren't getting any of that from Garland. You weren't getting points or assists.
He is a scorer. When he doesn't do that, that's what you're paying him for. The assists are nice. That's an added bonus.
Well, I look at it because
he's averaging 25 points a game.
Right, but which should be an all-star, by the way, and that's really, he's one of 4 players that are averaging 25 points a game this season.
What's that tell you about the league, what they think of him then?
Exactly, but he's still a big assist guy, and there's something missing, or maybe it's we don't know how bad this injury with Darius Garland is. Maybe they know. I mean, when you look at Trae Young and he got traded to the Wizards, they're saying he's shut down for the remainder of the year now. Could that be the same thing with Darius Garland? And the Cavaliers looking at it as, this is win now mode. We've got to do something because we cannot rely on Darius Garland. The bench was bad. They looked at it. They addressed the issue, and they made deals last week. I don't think they're done yet, but the problem is this. You look at this and you say, okay, what about the core 4, Kobe? You've been preaching core 4. We're not breaking it up. That's the best you could do? I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. And you got a guy that was an all-star. What's left in the tank? Don't know. He's 10 years. This is the first time, I think, in NBA history at the trade deadline where you had 2 former all-stars that had a 10-year difference.
Yeah, it's a crazy deal. But it's one both teams figured they had to make for various reasons, whether it's to win now, whether it's monetarily for next year and the year after that. And for whatever reason, I just snorted. I'm all fired up. Did you hear me snort?
You're not even laughing.
I'm wound up.
Yeah.
Because to me, I understand how it can happen, but I can't stand watching James Harden play. I would rather go visit my good buddy Tom Bilski and have him do a root canal on me than watch James Harden play basketball.
I don't particularly care for the style of play either, but I sure will like it more now if he's getting fouled every time he breathes like he does when he plays against the Cavaliers. This dude gets to line, man. And the Cavaliers, not a very good foul shooting team.
Yeah.
Maybe this helps those averages as well.
So let's open up the phone lines, 330-450-1480. Get your thoughts on this. All right. Do you like the trade of Darius Garland and a second-round pick going from the Cavaliers to the Clippers in return for 36-year-old James Harden?
Problem with the NBA is when the trade deadline is, because we saw a trade deadline move last year and it backfired.
Yep.
The DeAndre Hunter deal was terrible, and it wasn't good last year either when you got to the playoffs. So, I mean, you look at it and say, well, maybe he just needed more time to fit in. Well, he's had almost the entire 3/4 of the season into this season. They looked at it and said, this slump isn't going anywhere. We've got to move on from DeAndre Hunter and the $24 million contract. Isn't it about time you moved on from Darius Garland? Or should you have kept Garland and moved on from Donovan?
No, you keep Donovan.
You're right. You know why?
No-brainer.
In order to win in the NBA, you must have a superstar. That's Donovan Mitchell. I don't care what position he plays.
And he's the most physical player on the team, which you need in the postseason.
Fine.
You're soft everywhere else. Garland was the least physical player on the team, and that's saying a lot when you consider Jared Allen's very, soft. I'll use a nice word since we're live on the radio, right? Harden isn't a physical player either.
What if he makes Evan Mobley better?
Well, we'll see. Let's hope that that's part of the reason they made this deal, that he can. Do you expect him to average 25 points a game for the Cavaliers? I do not.
I didn't watch a lot of Clipper games, and I know Kawhi misses a ton. Maybe he had to, but that team started off really lousy, and now they're right near 500, and they're playing better ball, and they want to get out from under whatever their apron or cap hit is as well, and it's time for them to move on. They're thinking about the future, because if they get anything from Darius Garland, the good news is he's still only 26. How is that possible?
That's why they made the deal, because of the age.
Get younger.
Yeah, they could afford to absorb his salary for multiple years, where the Cavaliers need to get out from underneath that salary as soon as possible. And so that's part. So they're trading for a 25.8 assists per game guy in Harden for this year, and they're trading for him because they can get out from underneath his contract next year and either A, cut him, which I hope they do, please cut him, or they can re-sign him at a more friendlier contract.
Think about what in terms was available, and Trae Young was traded. You didn't want him. John Morant's going to probably be traded. You don't want him.
Right.
I guess maybe this is the best deal they could have made.
Let's get a phone call in here,
All right.
330-450-1480. Mike is up first in Canton. Welcome to the show, Mike. How you doing?
Bad deal. You'll regret it. He's been traded so many times already. He is known to have a very short shelf life.
I've read the same things you have, Mike, and I don't disagree. This is his sixth different team, and I think fourth time in the middle of the season, a so-called 75th best player in the entire world has been traded in the middle of a season.
You don't need a long shelf life with this dude. I mean, hopefully this is it. And I agree with you. Moving forward, I don't think he's your answer, because you need younger players, especially at that position, because let's face it, do you ever imagine this guy becoming Westbrook coming off the bench?
Yeah, I thought Westbrook was...
No, do you ever imagine Harden coming off a bench? I don't know.
Well, he's not going to here, because you don't have anybody else that's better than him starting, okay? Because you know me, as much as I dislike James Harden, I can't stand Max Strus. He's the most inconsistent. He's consistently inconsistent, Max Strus. So how about this?
He's not even that, because he's not even available.
Okay.
He's less
I would
than
take
that.
James Harden over Max Strus, and I can't stand
saying
James Harden. And I know that's not saying a lot, but you brought up a good point. Harden's available. Strus is not. Maybe Strus can't play the rest of this year.
True.
Maybe this is something that they're not letting the cat out of the bag, and he's done for the entire year. And to your point about Garland, they didn't know when he was coming back, so they figured at least this guy's available to play.
Kenny, they can look at this season all they want and say that we're not where we thought we were going to be, but the bottom line here is the bench has been terrible.
Yes.
Really bad.
Yep. So you've added Keon Ellis, you've added Dennis Schroeder, and then by, I guess, trading for James Harden, somebody else moves to the bench, right? So one thing Brian Windhorst did say today, I saw on ESPN, he thinks the Cavaliers are not done because they need to make at least one more move to get Tomlin a full-time contract, because he's already hit the 50-game mark. And if not, then he has to go down to the charge and not play at the NBA level for the rest of this year unless they sign him to that new contract.
Okay, so what happened to the second apron? We can't make any deals.
I have no idea what that is. I don't know what that means.
That is my entire line of thinking about a salary cap that does not exist. I don't care what the league is.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Let's get another phone call in here. Trevor in Canton. Welcome to the Kenny and JT show, Trevor.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, man. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think the key is just expectations. You know, we don't understand or know why they made this trade. I think you need somebody now to help, obviously. But I think part of it is, as fans, we have to have certain expectations, too, of what Harden's going to bring or do for the team right now.
Okay.
I think obviously, like the caller before me talked about the short shelf life. Well, we don't really care about that right now.
Correct.
Obviously, we want to win and be competitive. So I think the key is like having realistic expectations of what James Harden is and who he is. We need someone who can score when Donovan Mitchell goes out and can keep us in games and is going to bring some sort of competition to what we already have. Garland, I'm fine with getting rid of because he hasn't been doing anything for us this season. He's been out. So it's not helping right now. So I think realistically it makes the most sense to make that deal, but I am hopeful that they'll make one more deal to get us to a place where we can truly compete in the East and then compete for a championship.
Trevor, I am not concerned about James Harden in the regular season, okay? I know he'll put up the numbers in the regular season, but when the games get bigger and tougher and it's do or die, it's, win or you're eliminated, that's what scares the bejesus out of me with James Harden. I gave you all those numbers, and I just added them up. I picked out 10 games over 6 years that were either do or die games or series swinging games to your advantage. And he averaged 13 points and shot 29% from the field in those games. That's what scares me when you get to the postseason, and that's where this team has struggled without James Harden. Why are they going to be better with James Harden in the postseason?
Well, they weren't better with Darius Garland in that position either. So, I mean, I don't think you traded for Harden for him to be the man in a game 7. I think you got him to make the rest of the team better. This is Donovan Mitchell's team. You need Donovan Mitchell to play better in those games that Harden failed in the past, Kenny. And Darius Garland, obviously, even last season, he's injured in the playoffs.
Exactly. I think the key is just making sure that we have that expectation that it's not about him coming in and being the guy.
Correct.
He doesn't have to be the guy.
Okay.
We need him to be able to distribute the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
When we have Donovan Mitchell who needs a break, get him out, get him a break, let Harden, facilitate the offense,
okay,
or if he needs to, which we know he can do. The playoffs, totally understandable, but we haven't been great in the playoffs anyway.
Right.
To your point.
Right.
With
So
Garland
shouldn't you
or
be
without-
trying to find a guy to help you in the playoffs, not hurt you even more in the playoffs because he chokes in the biggest
He's
moments?
36. He's not your guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's why you're hopeful that we have one more move to go
Okay.
to get us to that point. But I think ultimately it was a good move. I'm just hopeful that I'm not a huge James Harden fan either, but I'm hopeful that it can make us better as a team overall.
Great call.
I hear what you're saying. I hope you are right. I can't believe it until I see it.
This isn't the trust in the process 76ers when he was a younger man. This is Kobe Altman breaking up the core 4 that we never thought we were going to see either. So my question to you has got to be this.
What?
Which was worse, trust in the process or the core 4? I'm not touching it. I mean, shouldn't he have made this move 2 years ago? Realistically, shouldn't he have made this move with Garland a couple of years ago, even when they extended Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland said, or allegedly said, if you extend him, I want out.
They should have made this move after what happened last year. Okay, I'll give him the extra year, okay, but after what happened last year, this move should have been made, or a similar move to this should have been made in the offseason. Instead, nope, we're running it back. It's the core 4. It's Darius Garland. It's Donovan Mitchell. It's Jared Allen. It's Evan Mobley. We got our core 4. Oh, media day. Nope, we see. You saw that they could play together in the regular season last year. Look how good that was. Yeah, we had a speed bump in the playoffs, but we're bringing everybody back. We're good to go with these guys. Well, took them 51 games to realize what you and I've realized for the last 2 years. This ain't working.
And we're still waiting for Evan Mobley to arrive, and they kept telling us during media day that this has got to be his team.
Yep.
For this team to take the next step, the development's got to be now.
Yeah,
he shows some glimpses.
Yeah,
but he's not there yet.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Maybe it's Darius Garland. Maybe it's Evan Mobley. Maybe it's Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland hindering the growth of Evan Mobley. I don't know.
We'll see how this plays out in the remaining 31 games.
Bottom line is this.
What?
Jared Allen scores 40 and 17 every night. From here on in, we win it all. Let's go.
He does it one time and you're counting on that on a regular basis.
Now they'll trade him too.
You love him, right? Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, when we come back, we'll continue taking your call. We're here till 6:30 to 7 o'clock. What time tonight, Brian? We're here till 7, right? Yeah, so we've got plenty of time to take your calls at 330-450-1480. We're also going to talk a little bit more about the Browns hiring of Mr. Munkin. Hey, we're the Munkins. Yeah, Daryl Ryder, Browns beat reporter, breaks that all down for us next.
It's Kenny and Jay.